Okay, let's hear from a few more folks via Discord. You can join the Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's try overseas again. Why don't we go to Scott from Scotland? What's going on, Scott? Scott from Scotland, you are muted. You have to unmute yourself in order for me to hear you.
My apologies, my friend. Do you hear me well?
I do.
Fantastic. So a relatively, I don't want to say it's a minor point, but maybe not high on the list of priorities is legal immigration into the US. And I kind of speak from firsthand experience here. I was mid-move with work to the US last March when the COVID situation kicked off. And now we find ourselves in a kind of a precarious and non-moving position. And so I know that President Trump was obviously focused on illegal immigration, but he also did a pretty good job of decimating legal immigration as well through the various presidential orders he put in place.
Yes.
The last of which expired at midnight on March the 31st, which he enacted just before New Year's Day. So in theory, the presidential orders have disappeared for the most part for the kind of legal immigration bans. But what we're finding, and this is something our work attorneys are struggling with, is that embassies and US consulates around the world are still refusing to see people or offer appointments or even just say when they're going to start resuming services. So I'm just curious from your perspective, where do you see legal immigration going under this new administration? And do you think it will improve? Do you think Biden will maybe clamp down on it and kind of readjust the system? Where do you see
I
it
don't
going?
see a clampdown. What you're describing is not unique to the United States. I have friends that are dealing with this in different places. I have a friend that's in the middle of getting Portuguese residency through a so-called golden visa program, and it's taking forever. I have another friend who's in the middle of getting Israeli citizenship. All of these systems are just slowed down, and I think that it's as we get out of the pandemic, hopefully over the next 6 to 12 months, a lot of these bureaucratic nightmares will become slightly less nightmarish. But the question of policy is a different one. I think in the immediate, things are just going to go back to the way they were before the pandemic. Policy is going to be dealt with later.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do know that Biden and his administration were potentially looking at kind of changes to the H-1 lottery system in particular, and just changing how that goes. But I guess it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the coming months.
No doubt about it. And so now are you no longer trying to move to the U.S.?
No, we're still in progress. I'm living in a half-packed house and have been since last March. I had an embassy appointment last March, and then they postponed it and postponed it again and postponed it again. We put in an exemption request for national security exemption because I work in areas related to national security, and the consulate rejected it without even reading it. So we're in a bit of a strange state at the moment, but still very much pursuing trying to get things sorted out.
All right. Well, I hope things normalize for you.
Thank you, David.
All right. Scott from Scotland, thank you so much for the call. We are speaking to folks via Discord, as we often do. You can find the Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. That's the way to do it. Let's go to, how about AJ in Oregon, or as the former president said it, Oregon? AJ, what's going on?
Hey, David, can you hear me?
Just barely, AJ. We've got you cranked up, and it's just a whisper.
How about now? Is that better?
Barely. What's going on? Let's see if we can get your question out.
I was wondering if you had a magic wand to enact any policy regarding police reform, what would you change and why?
I have a whole video clip about this where I lay out about 8 to 10 different points, and it includes training, social work training for police officers. We talk about body cameras. We talk about civilian review boards that actually work, a national bad actors database. There's about 8 to 10 different points. I've outlined it pretty specifically, and there's probably even more that could be added to it, but definitely check that clip out. It's on YouTube.
Okay, but not anything specifically out of those, like there isn't anything that you would place above all the others?
No, I didn't prioritize the list. I mean, it's a list of about 8 to 10 things. I didn't rank them, if that's the question.
Okay. I guess more specifically, I was wondering about the body cameras. I noticed a lot of times with these issues with police brutality, we're really dependent on body cams to get an unbiased sort of recording of the event.
Yeah, my general view is I like the idea of body cameras. It shouldn't be so easy for them to just not record at exactly the key moment, and then you hear about, oh, the footage is missing, the camera didn't turn on. I know that there are some small studies that claim complaints for use of force went up when body cameras were put in place, and a lot of right wingers will point to that and say, see, we don't need body cameras. At the macro level, everything I've read is that use of force complaints go down when body cameras are put in place. So I think there's still details to sort out, but from everything I've read, I'm in favor of body cameras.
And just the last thing on that, so would you, in the course of events where a body camera is turned off or not available, would you hold the police department accountable for that missing footage if body camera reform was put in place where they required everyone to record the course of events?
I don't know how you manage that, because there's a big difference between the officer deliberately turns the camera off, which really it's a question whether they should even have the ability to do that, or everything's recorded and then in the cloud, but somehow the footage disappears, to just genuinely there's a technical issue. You need a system for managing all of those different circumstances. I don't know exactly what that system is right now.
All right. Thank you very much. I love the show.
All right. There is AJ, barely audible, but we were able to make it work. Always a good thing.